our business today, as you reflect on the issues that bring us together today, as you reflect on the themes, as you open yourself up to be challenged, to be inspired, and to also reflect on what we are doing well, because I think that's also important. When we're working in the space of trying to change society, it's very easy to just get stuck and feel that the problems are insurmountable, but it's important that we know what has worked, what can we replicate, and what can we upscale in order to achieve our ideals. Let's go to Rwanda now. In Rwanda, our colleagues and partners have come together in a small hub in Rwanda, and we cross over to the MC in Rwanda, Mr. Augustine Kimonyo and Ms. Taina Ange Ndizeye. Over to you.
Yes, as I was saying, I'm Augustine Kimonyo, and I was saying that I'm not alone. I'm with my colleague who will come quickly to introduce herself before we can introduce the audience and say hello to everyone who is connected across the globe.
Hello, everyone. My name is Taina Ndizeye, as it was mentioned. I'm a medical student in Rwanda, and we are sending so much love from the country of 1,000 hills, smiles, and solutions. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I think that this is now the time for the audience to say hello. And I think you can wave. Can you please wave and say hello to everyone?
Hello.
Can we see everyone? I am.
Because you are.
I am.
Because you are.
I am.
Because you are.
That's the energy in Rwanda. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Ange. Yes, that's very good. I think now we can have the time for the different activities that are planned for this session. I would like to request the chairperson of Rwamurek to deliver his speech. Over to you, please, chairperson of Rwamurek. Thank you.
Thank you, Kimonyo. Honorable Minister of Gender and Family Promotion, Professor Jeannette Bayisenge, Honorable Swedish Ambassador to Rwanda, the co-chair Global MenEngage Alliance, co-chair Africa MenEngage Network, the chairperson WAMNet, all protocol observed, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Rwanda Men's Research Center, it is my sincere pleasure to welcome you all to the opening of the third Global MenEngage Symposium, also known as Ubuntu Symposium. Our formal sitting today marks the passage of many months of collaboration and cooperative spirit among so many who have been involved in the preparation of this conference. The MenEngage Symposium this year was scheduled to take place for the very first time in Africa, precisely in Rwanda, following the COVID-19 pandemic and safety measures put in place. We had to rethink the shape and schedule of the conference, and today, after months of reorganizing ourselves, here we are with a hybrid event, virtual and at the global level, and in person in Kigali. We, as Rwamurek, are so excited to have been a part of the preparations. It has been a very challenging process, but an exciting and learning curve for all of us. We look forward to sharing insights and experiences, as well as learning from all the experts attending the symposium this year. You will observe that this opening is the first in a series of conversations that will be ongoing from November, leading to the closing of the symposium in June 2021. We are honored to have various experts in the field of men and masculinities, women's rights, gender justice, amongst so many others, joining us from today onwards. I believe this symposium has considerable power that we can exploit to achieve strong outcomes for women and girls, and also for our men. Please know that your input will go a long way in shaping our world on the field of gender justice in general. On behalf of Rwamrek, I would like to thank the Global MenEngage Alliance for the trust vested in us, their support, and unwavering collaboration for many years now. A big thank you to all our solid partners and sponsors, particularly those who contributed to the symposium. We appreciate you and value your support, and you are committed to building even stronger partnerships. Thank you to the global and national coordination for the great job done in preparing the symposium, as well as all the organizing committees. You made what initially seemed like a daunting task of organizing a major global conference appear so simple. Finally, my special thanks to the Ministry of Gender for its commitment to advancing gender equality goals and fighting discrimination and abuse. Thank you for your guidance and support to our daily work and your collaboration during the past months. Thank you all for your expected active participation. Thank you very much. Now, allow me to invite my colleague, Marianne, Chair of Rwanda MenEngage Network, for the next submission. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Honorable Minister of Gender and Family Promotion, Professor Bayisenge Jeannette, the Executive Director of UN Mission from Zile Mlamgo Chuka, Honorable Deputy Chief of Mission and Head of Development Cooperation of Swedish Embassy to Rwanda, the Co-Chair of Global MenEngage Alliance, the Co-Chair of the Africa MenEngage Network, the Chairperson of RAMREC, all protocols observed, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. As we convene here today, let me also warmly welcome you to the opening of the third Global MenEngage Symposium. Thank you for your vote and confidence in us, in Rwanda as the venue for this Rwanda Symposium. On behalf of Rwanda MenEngage Network, I'm extremely proud to say that we have such a dedicated team here and across the world that has worked tirelessly to ensure we have a conference today, particularly in these challenging times. Allow me to share with you some highlights from Rwanda MenEngage Network, also abbreviated as RAMNet. This network was established in November 2008 in an effort to effectively engage men and boys to end violence in Rwanda. And this network is currently chaired by Health Development Initiative, or HDI, with Rural Development Initiative, or RDI, as the vice chair, and RAMREC as the secretariat. RAMNet has now 21 member organizations, and its thematic areas of focus include sexual and reproductive health and rights, HIV/AIDS prevention, gender-based violence, gender justice, child rights and gender equality, youth, and advocacy for LGBTI community. Key achievements of the network include, but not limited to, conducting community outreaches and intergenerational dialogues, aiming to achieve family promotion. Government institutions have started mainstreaming MenEngage activities in its projects, advocacy to expand access to SRHR services and information, celebrating International Men's and Women's Day, and hosting the third Global MenEngage Symposium that we are opening today. While I will leave it to MenEngage Global to talk about the symposium at length, I merely point out that I believe the theme for this year's symposium, Ubuntu, or Ubumuntu in Kinyarwanda, is so appropriate. At the heart of each definition of Ubuntu in different places is the connectedness that exists or should exist between people. Ubuntu reflects the understanding of the essence of humanity. It refers to acting in ways that positively benefit the community, which is what all of us gathered here in our various domains are striving to achieve. I ask all of you to continue to demonstrate the spirit of cooperation that has always guided us. We need to continue to address the persistent issues that weaken our society and burden many of us. Significant work lies ahead of us, and it's true. Indeed, we are all in agreement that we need to further enhance the sustainability and effectiveness of our work of promoting a better, a more just, and an equitable society. I encourage all of you to participate in this week's discussions in spirit of collaboration and with the willingness to listen to and respect alternative viewpoints. I sincerely hope you will enjoy the next 3 days of debate and networking. Excellencies, dear partners, I must thank you all for your commitment, which I'm confident that will be the headline of the successful and productive symposium. I sincerely thank our partners and sponsors for making this forum possible. I thank all the speakers and guests for making the time to join and share the experiences and knowledge with the rest of the world. Thank you to my fellow members of the organizing committee and across the world who took on the responsibilities associated with the practical organization of the symposium, as well as other organizing committees for a great job done. I would also like to thank the Global Coordination for the tremendous synchronization and work done over the past month. Your commitment to the success of the symposium has truly been remarkable. Thank you to the MenEngage Alliance for their never-ending guidance and support, and for enabling this forum that offers us the space to connect and challenge ourselves, our beliefs, and our ways. Finally, on behalf of the Rwanda MenEngage Network, I would like to convey my sincere gratitude to the commendable efforts of our government through the Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion to develop our country and create a gender-just society free of violence and discrimination. Once again, welcome and thank you for your participation. Murakoze.
Thank you very much to the chairperson of RAMREC and the chair of RAMNet for their welcome remarks. I'd like to now give it back to Redi for the next phase of our discussion.
Thank you so very much. And we will be crossing over to Rwanda from throughout the program today and also tomorrow for the next 3 days, really hearing from speakers, sharing their expertise, their outlook, and also for some cultural entertainment, which I know we have in store for you. Before we go to our next item, I did invite you to please participate and be active on the chat box. I hadn't anticipated that it will be such an exciting venture for me. We are inundated with comments, people just telling us where they are and who they are. And I beg your indulgence as I just read a few of those messages, just so you get a sense of how far this Ubuntu is spreading today. And we hope it stays that way for the next 3 days. We have Zena Marcos, who's greeting all the panelists and attendees. And Zena is joining us from Ethiopia. We also have Brian Yusuf from Uganda. Thank you very much. And Rita from the Prevention Collaborative, very excited to join the MenEngage Ubuntu Symposium. Thank you very much. And we also have Makbul Ahmed and joining us as well. We have Rosalie, okay, it just refreshed on my screen, but you get a sense of what I'm talking about, that this is resonating with so many people from different parts of the world, and we are delighted to have you. Thank you so very much. Okay, so we're moving on to the next item on our agenda, and we are going to hear now from the global co-chairs of MenEngage, Bafana Khumalo and Humberto Carolo of MenEngage Alliance, as well as Hassan Sekajoolo, the chair of MenEngage Africa. We'd like you to come and make your input for the day, and we'll start with you, Bafana Khumalo.
Thank you very much, Redi, and warm welcome to all the colleagues that are joining this wonderful occasion. We would have wished, of course, to be physically with all of you in Rwanda at this time, but the challenges of COVID, as we all know, did not permit us to be together. But we are still together, though virtually and in spirit, and we are going to be enjoying these 3 days. It was the Kenyan philosopher and theologian John Mbiti who once said, "I am because we are, and since we are, therefore I am." This, in essence, is what is going to be consuming our conversations for the next coming 6 months, as Redi has indicated to all of us. Why then are we here? We need to shape an intersectional, feminist-informed agenda on eliminating patriarchal masculinities and engaging men and boys for gender and social justice. We believe that now is the time for those working and engaging in the field of transforming masculinities and engaging men and boys in gender justice, women's rights, LGBTQIA and rights, SRHR for all, and other relevant issues to come together to take stock of the work that has been done to date. And what is needed going forward, we need to share learnings, promising practices, and exchange experiences from across various areas of work, contexts, and sectors. This is our opportunity to build an agenda forward together through the Ubuntu Symposium. Looking back at Rio at our first global symposium and Delhi at the second symposium in the past years, these are what has emerged from those important conversations. The previous global and regional symposia of MenEngage Alliance served as opportunities to highlight and reflect upon the work to engage men and boys in gender equality. Additionally, the global symposia consolidated MenEngage as a network with the UN and bilateral aid agencies. This includes the women's rights field and increased the credibility of the work, both politically and technically, as a field of practice and activism. Rio, you will recall, colleagues, was the first symposium that brought the community together. It resulted in calls to action, strengthening and growth of network and regions, engagements with civil society and broader field, the Rio Declaration and call to action, the outcome of the first MenEngage Global Symposium in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in 2009, highlighted the importance of working with men and boys to achieve gender equality in all spheres of human rights and international development. The second MenEngage Global Symposium, which was held in New Delhi in November 2014, marked a further maturing of MenEngage Alliance's political stance, placing patriarchy at the center of our problem analysis and deepening intersectional understanding of how gender interplays with matters of race, class, economic status, age, etc. The Rio and Delhi call to action have served as a compass for MenEngage Alliance and its members' work on the ground. Excuse me. And hence, it has informed the majority of the programs, the research, the campaigns, and initiatives in this field of work across various regions and globally. We will now watch a video that reminds us of that history.
Hegemonic masculinity is behind everything which threatens the planet and threatens our solidarity.
We need to focus on understanding how the rhetoric, the social psyche of masculinity in this way.
To find the common cause, that our sisters who started this work would trust enough that men could come in and be part of the gender justice struggle.
Only way to do it would be to engage with political leadership and convince them that they need to change the law.
It's not only talking about political work and political awareness, it's about inner transformation.
Clearly, change is possible, and we should hold on to our optimism.
I wanted to act as if the house was on fire, because it is.
Thank you very much, Bafana. Thank you very much. And most importantly, reminding us of where it all started, where it is all going. And I think it is always important to reflect, to bring a historical prism on anything that we wish to achieve, because it refreshes our commitment. It reminds us of why we start certain interventions and certain projects and certain fellowships. It reminds us why we get together in the first place. And I think right now, when you look at the disproportionate impact of COVID on marginalized communities, especially Black people and women, then you know that our work is not done. And in fact, it is more and more urgent. When you look at inequality, when you look at the people who have lost their employment opportunities as a result of COVID, the people who are carrying the burden of educating children in this changed world, the impact of COVID on caregivers, which all over the world are made up of women, majority women, then it really reminds you that this gathering for the next 3 days is urgent and its work is absolutely, absolutely crucial. Just once again, reminding you, we've got everybody using the chat box. We have people viewing us from Trinidad and Tobago. We have some watching from Mexico, others participating from New York City, Burundi, Washington. I do beg your pardon, the screen is refreshing at a very alarming rate. So I'll try and capture as many of your comments as possible. I did say introduce you to Bafana, who is co-chair, and now we go to Hassan. Hassan, I wonder if you are ready for us. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Redi. And this is an exciting moment for me as chairperson of MenEngage Africa. I would like to say that this symposium has been codenamed Ubuntu Symposium. And for us here in Africa, Ubuntu is such a powerful word, so powerful and also increasingly and adds more weight to the work that we do as the MenEngage Alliance. Because the word Ubuntu simply means I am what I am because you are. And within that word, we see a lot of solidarity, we see a lot of being accountable to each other, we see a lot of humanity at play, because I am, because you are. And the work that we do as MenEngage Alliance is really to make sure that we contribute to having a just society. When we work from the side of men and masculinities, that is the value addition that we are really adding to the work of gender equality. This work was not started by MenEngage, the work was started by the feminist and women's movements across the world, and they have been doing this work for a very, very long time. So we do take leadership, we do listen, we do partner, and we do consult a lot with our colleagues from the women's movement to be able to do our work of changing men and masculinities and having men making a contribution to gender equality. I am going to talk about the process of this symposium that is becoming the main factor for today and the next few months after we finish the kickoff. We have had a lot of volunteers, and at this moment I would like to thank everybody who has volunteered, the people who have partnered with us. We have had so many people on the committees that have been shaping this work moving forward until when we come to this opening plenary here to see that people are here and are following across the world. The overall work and framework of the Ubuntu Symposium was developed over a period of 2 years, and we need to acknowledge this. We have had about 130 people being on the committees that have put this together and continue to put this together into the coming times across our regional networks, the 6 regional networks that we have in the MenEngage Global Alliance. Particularly here in Africa, we have had a lot of work in our 4 sub-regions and our 22 countries to try and see how do we make our contribution, how do we popularize the Ubuntu Symposium, and how do we get everybody not to miss this opportunity to learn a lot. Of course, as a MenEngage Alliance, we have principles, and these principles were really factored into the organizing of the symposium and building the core elements of our alliance. Some of these principles and values informed our overall program and organizing of the symposium. And I would like to highlight that the issue of bottom-up approach was very central to the organization of this symposium. Very, very central. And we see that the work that we have been doing has been right from the bottom. It's not a top-down for us, because as a gender equality alliance, we would like to make sure that we are breaking all power and hierarchical structures, and we are sharing power to make sure that all of us benefit from that. Expanding diversity and inclusivity was one of those principles that have promoted the organizing of this global symposium. We re-energized our networks. We have, across the world, we have 6 regional networks. Representative participation was one of those principles that we considered in organizing this symposium. Transparency when we do this work, transparency is one of those great issues that we need to put into consideration. And for us, it is transparency at all levels. So transparency, process, and communication at all fronts, we had to ensure transparency. And of course, accountability. Accountability is one of those issues that we continue to emphasize, continue to learn from as we grow our work with men and masculinities. The accountability here is mutual, but also the fact that we need horizontal accountability. We had a lot of co-creation, collective ownership. We met in Rwanda. We have been having several meetings, meaningful involvement, the leadership. It was a thorough process of planning for this symposium. But at this time, I want to pay special thanks to our colleague in the Caribbean region, Guyana. When we had the meeting, one of the meetings we had in Rwanda, Guyana was one of those people from Guyana in the Caribbean. Alistair Collins was one of those people who sparked the discussion that this event is going to be in Africa and it needs to have that African feel. And that's when the discussion started, and that's how we ended up saying the word, the most befitting word for this symposium is Ubuntu, because I am, because you are. So special thanks to you, Alistair Collins, for that insight. So I am because you are is everything that this symposium is about. When you look at the themes of this symposium, everything about the themes were developed under the philosophy of Ubuntu. I am because you are. When we talk about power with, when we talk about intersectionality, it's all intended to make sure that I am what I am because of the contribution of other people, because of who other people are. And in Africa, we do pride in that Ubuntu because it gives us the solidarity and it gives us the energy to go on. So thank you very much from wherever you're following across the world. Thank you for joining the Ubuntu Symposium, and do please stay until the rest of the activities continue. Right now, let me hand back to Redi for the rest of the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you so very much, Hassan, just for your commitment, your energy, your passion, and a reminder of what Ubuntu is all about. And the hope in your voice, maybe I'm overreading it, but the hope in your voice tells me that these partnerships do work, that the collaboration does work, that allyship does work, that together we can influence policy, we can influence legislation, we can influence how women and girls experience the world, experience their communities, experience their families, and one step at a time, even as we know that this work is urgent, we have to roll up our sleeves and carry on with it. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate that. So right now, it is a pleasure to introduce you to the last co-chair who will be speaking to us this morning and this afternoon or evening or morning, wherever you are. Humberto, the floor is yours. Humberto Carolo.
Thank you very much, Redi, for that welcome, and thank you, Bafana and Hassan, for helping set the stage, the context for this third symposium, and welcome colleagues and invited guests, esteemed guests. It's a real pleasure to be together virtually, and I look forward to a time when we can all be together in person again, because together we will make a tremendous difference in this work. But we'll do it virtually now, and we look forward to a time in the future, in the near future, let's hope, when we can all be together. So thank you for joining us. The Ubuntu Symposium, the third MenEngage Global Symposium, seeks to advance the political agenda by affirming the need for greater alignment and building common cause with social justice movements globally and nationally who are seeking to achieve a full social justice agenda. The Ubuntu Symposium thus represents a significant opportunity to build on our own values and advance in our resolve to walk the talk towards full gender justice. Ubuntu brings us together to share experiences, evidence, and insights on how to effectively challenge and dismantle oppressive patriarchal norms and constructions of masculinities. It allows us to take stock of how this work has evolved in the past few years, and it helps us identify new goals, frontiers, and strategies to create a forum to re-articulate a political agenda that seeks to transform unjust and deeply embedded power structures. By aligning ourselves with and adding value to the work of women's rights and social justice movements, we believe we will contribute to building a better world, and one we share with all people in solidarity across the globe. Most importantly, this series of events will be a key space for the Alliance members and partners to strengthen collective movement building efforts, contributing to the broader feminist women's rights and social justice movements. The objectives of the Ubuntu Symposium are threefold. We want to make men and masculinities work more effective and impactful for gender justice through collective sharing, questioning, learning, and knowledge strengthening. We aim to strengthen a global community that acts responsibly, purposefully, inclusively, and in solidarity with our partners, friends, and each other across social justice movements. And finally, we want to inspire, develop, and renew a common political agenda and strategy to meet the urgency of today's existing and emerging challenges. The collective development and evolution of MenEngage Alliance's political agenda, combined with the consultative process to gather inputs for the symposium, led to the following themes for this event: power with, transformation, accountability, intersectionality, and feminisms. The way we understand the role of men and masculinities within gender and social work has evolved. To continue this journey, we have developed a political framework of cross-cutting themes. They are not intended as final definitions, but as a starting point to guide us in how we reflect, share, learn, explore, critically examine, and advance together as an alliance. Together, they form our political framework for the Ubuntu Symposium. Friends, I hope you enjoy this event and build new knowledge, connections, and inspiration to guide you along the way in our collective journey. Thank you very much, and I look forward to being part of the dialogue, and thanks to everybody who's been involved in organizing this wonderful event, to our sponsors, our supporters, and to everyone that's part of the opening ceremony today. My warmest greetings. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you so very much, Humberto, Carolo. We really appreciate it. Thanks for your input. I just wanted to read a message that I think speaks to exactly what you were touching on. Rashid says, we here in Pakistan, we're working very closely to extend the political agenda of engaging men and boys for gender justice and gender equality. Thank you so very much. And we do have another input, says, thank you so much, Humberto, for such an impactful presentation. And Bendulo says, great content, looking forward to the symposium. Speaking of content in Bendulo and everybody else, let me just remind you that we've got a youth plenary. And as we know, Africa and its youth population, that is our asset. So we want to hear from young voices as well. We have a plenary on intersectional feminist movements, Men and Masculinities Plenary 1 and Men and Masculinities Plenary 2. So there will indeed be a lot of content that is coming through in the next 3 days. So thank you so very much for being with us. Keep those comments coming, keep those questions coming, and I look forward to getting the engagement on the substantive issues after we've heard our fireside or panel discussion. And MenEngage has really gone out of its way to find the most formidable speakers, the most knowledgeable expertise on the topic that will be discussed later. So right now we're missing our friends in Rwanda. We want to connect with you again. So I'm handing you over once again to Augustine Kimonyo and Taina Ange Dizeye. Over to you.
My thanks to all the previous speakers for the very insightful and constructive speeches. Now, as the next item on our agenda, let me call upon the Deputy Head of Mission and the Head of Development Cooperation at the Swedish Embassy to Rwanda, Madam Christina Wedekull, please. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Dear all, Honorable Minister of Gender and Family Promotion, I see distinguished guests here in the room, friends, colleagues, voices all over the world, all protocols observed. I'm really honored to be here today and being invited to speak of the opening of the third MenEngage Global Symposium. And I'm especially glad to sit here in Rwanda, where important strides are being made. In 2014, Sweden, as the first country in the world, decided on a feminist foreign policy. It centered around ensuring the rights, representation, and resources of all women and girls. It is our firm conviction that feminism is not an add-on. It is a very core of what we do. It is the conviction that to create a better world for all, gender equality needs to be woven into the fabric of every society. Of course, we have our special focus areas, such as promoting women's economic empowerment, ensuring the right to sexual and reproductive health and rights, and promoting meaningful participation of women and men in all spheres of society. The essence is really the same as for this symposium, transforming power for the benefit of all humanity. Ubuntu, I am because you are. This symposium and making men and masculinities work more effective and impactful for gender justice is critical in order to reinforce the commitment of men as allies in the fight for gender equality. Joining efforts is urgent and more important than ever. This year has been unlike any other year in recent times. We all know that. While we have been affected by COVID-19 in various ways, some are affected more than others. Regrettably, within the area of gender equality and women's rights, there have been a number of setbacks and concerning developments. According to a rapid assessment carried out by UN Women, the pandemic has increased gender-based violence against women and girls. It has resulted in lower access to contraceptives and safe and legal abortions. So, support to women-centered services, including and ensuring sexual and reproductive health and rights, needs to be strengthened. So why is this so important? Well, because there is a strong linkage between the area of SRHR and other pressing challenges. As confirmed in the Maputo Declaration, addressing sexual and reproductive health and rights and poverty is mutually reinforcing. Specifically, there is a clear link between sexual rights and poverty. In the efforts to recover from severe socioeconomic impacts of the current global pandemic, it's more urgent and important than ever to allocate resources to the area of SRHR, given that we know the links between securing SRHR and reduced poverty. Experience in Sweden within the area of the SRHR shows that since the introduction of access to free contraceptives for 15 to 20-year-olds in 2017, the number of teenage pregnancies and abortions have decreased. There are important links between areas of women's sexual and reproductive health and rights, gender equality at large, and social and economic development. Therefore, ensuring SRHR is paramount to the achievements of the SDGs to which we have all subscribed. I would like today to end by thanking the Global MenEngage Alliance for bringing such a breadth of actors and change agents. The inclusion of men is and will continue to be pivotal to achieving gender equality. This global network is unique in its ability to engage men all over the world, to question power structures, to break the cycle of harmful practices, and to stand up for humanity. Ensuring the rights of men and women is not a zero-sum game. Gender equality liberates all people to live more freely. Together, we can transform power for the benefit of all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christine, for the powerful message. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me now to welcome Honorable Professor Jeannette Bayisenge, the Rwanda's Minister of Gender and Family Promotion, to deliver her address of the day. You're welcome, Honorable.
Your Excellency, the Swedish Ambassador to Rwanda, Honorable Co-Chairs of Global MenEngage Alliance, Honorable Co-Chair of African MenEngage Network, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen, I am because you are. I am. It is a pleasure to join you at the official opening of the third MenEngage Global Symposium. Please allow me to welcome you all, those who are here physically and those who are following us virtually to this Ubuntu Symposium. We are proud that Rwanda was trusted and selected as the host of the third Global MenEngage Symposium, despite the changes that were made to the format of the symposium in light of COVID-19 pandemic that is affecting our country worldwide. I also wish to extend my sincere appreciation to Global MenEngage Alliance and its partner institutions, including Rwanda Men's Resource Center and the Rwanda MenEngage Network, for their efforts and approaches to promote gender equality and women's empowerment through a positive masculinity approach. Distinguished guests, after the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, Rwanda emerged as a very good story of transformation. Rwanda is indeed amongst the few countries in the world that have taken exceptional strategies to promote equality and working tirelessly to eliminate gender-based violence. As you may know, His Excellency Paul Kagame, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, was selected to join the He-for-She Solidarity Movement as one of the 10 He-for-She champions, making Rwanda one of the 10 countries around the world committing to take bold, game-changing actions to achieve gender equality and women's empowerment. Through sensitization, specifically on men and boys, for their full engagement to remove social and cultural barriers that prohibit women and girls from achieving their full potential, Rwanda is ranked secondly globally on the He-for-She online portal. In the two last decades, gender equality and women's empowerment were not a myth, but rather a goal that was achieved in many areas. For example, Rwanda is globally leading in women's participation in decision-making positions, with 61.3% of female members of parliament and 52.3% of women in the cabinet. The government of Rwanda has taken a zero-tolerance stand in the fight against GBV. A legal policy and institutional framework is in place to step toward gender equality and create a more conducive environment for preventing and responding to GBV. In terms of GBV prevention and response, the government of Rwanda established a model called Isange One Stop Center, which means in English, feel at ease, feel mostly welcome. These Isange One Stop Centers are established countrywide to provide timely, affordable, comprehensive support, medical, legal, psychosocial, to GB victims and child abuse under same roof for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Looking beyond the various national policies that guide institutions and decision-making organs in the promotion of gender equality and GBV prevention, women are also participating as their male counterparts in different sectors at all levels, such as finance, agriculture, technology, and other areas. To achieve all of that and even more, we believe more than ever before that we need to develop effective partnership with NGOs and civil society organizations, particularly those engaging men and boys in promoting equal rights and GBV prevention in Rwanda and around the world. To support this approach, the Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion has revised the national gender policy to put more emphasis on the role of men and boys in this journey of promoting gender equality and empowering women and girls. We believe that active engagement of men in challenging traditional masculinities will lead to sustainable, lasting behavioral change and will help to break the cycle of GBV as well as contribute to equality overall. Distinguished participants, advancing gender equality is critical to good governance, social, and economic development, and thus it benefits men, women, and children. It benefits everyone. The following is a quote from His Excellency Paul Kagame on his speech on 8th March 2020. I quote, "Whenever women gain, we all gain as a country. There can be no true progress without equality. Thank you for playing your rightful and equal role in Rwanda's transformation." End of quote. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we open this symposium, we are privileged to have experts in the fields of MenEngage, and I'm confident that your participation will provide great insights on how we can further strengthen GBV prevention and gender equality promotion mechanism to ensure full participation of both men and women, girls and boys in the country's development. As I conclude, please allow me to thank all the participants for their attendance and work you are carrying out for the well-being of the societies. I hope these 3 days and the next few months will present an occasion to exchange experiences and ideas that will inspire us all to take new steps toward promoting gender justice and GBV prevention. I wish you all a very successful discussion and deliberations in the symposium. It's now my pleasure to declare the third Global MenEngage Ubuntu Symposium officially opened. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for the very powerful message. And definitely it is this power behind the message that is uniting the other powerful meaning of Ubuntu, which is I am because you are. I am because you are. I am because you are. Thank you very much. Redi, over to you, please.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. And Ambassador and Minister, thank you so very much for your commitment, your passion, and also reminding us of the tools that are available to achieve gender justice. Really appreciate your insights as well, and of course, your hospitality, Rwanda, in hosting us today.